Kellen, good day, sir. It's good to see you again.
Yeah, not really a long time no see, but a little bit here.
Well, it's been a while. I thought I'd let everybody know because I was told a long time ago, and by rambling, I'm not doing this, but I was told a long time ago, within like the first minute or two, you should let the audience know what we're talking about today. So I'm gonna let them know that you and I just got back from Scotland about 2 weeks ago. But I want to let everybody know this isn't a travel show. It's not a vacation recap. It's going to be a conversation about craftsmanship, curiosity, and the unexpected moments that ended up meaning the most. I thought on a gift card, a greeting card, I think.
Wow, wow, wow. That sounds very touching. And then, yeah,
Yeah, it's not. But also, I mean, we've got three mystery drams in front of us, and I intend to challenge Callan with his education from Scotland and his multiple years of experience in Scotland to identify the region they're from if he can, and if you get the distillery right, that's just a bonus. And you win nothing by doing this, by the way.
yeah, no pressure or anything. But for everyone's edification, before we started, I opened these fresh and poured them in, and I didn't game the game. I didn't put them through, analysis of any sort. So
The
this is
three
off the
mystery drams. I'm kind of excited. And by the way, dram, so not everybody may know, but it's really not an official term. It's just like a general term for a small amount of liquid, I think, but also it means it's intended for sipping, like for savoring, not for pounding.
That'd be shots, I guess, is the accepted term.
To all our Illinois friends. But yeah, I mean, because we took a fairly long trip. I think it was 12 days we were there.
Yeah, start to finish, I want to say, because we lost a day. I've been telling people it's about 12 days, yeah.
Yeah, because those flights are no. We almost lost a whole day in Cincinnati on the when we landed in the airport on the way back.
Oh yeah, that was super fun. Yeah.
It felt like it, but but yeah, not every. But even though we did plan it, we kind of we went back and forth. We got pretty detailed, and we got together a couple times. But when I put the details to make it better, to make it, I thought it went pretty well according to plan. But there were some things that we didn't plan, and because Scotland still has a way of surprising you. The people do, the place does, the weather does. Uh, So, without further ado, let's just start this off with mystery dram number one. You ready? And
Okay.
I will join you. I've got a wee bit myself.
It smells nice. Smells nice. I feel like there's a little bit of cherry in here. I might be wrong.
Oh,
It looks like a good color. It looks like first fill bourbon.
does it look the same color as mine? Yeah.
I hope so. Yeah. I mean, this is all assuming you labeled these, correctly and got them, to me in order.
Well, that does have a wee sherry taste, doesn't it?
A little bit. A little bit.
A little bit. But it's a powerhouse. I'm telling you, it's a DFA kind of distillery, in my opinion.
DFA type of distillery.
Don't
Have I
F
had this?
around. Okay, he's putting the old nose to it.
Yeah. Have I had
Wisconsin.
this one before?
Maybe not this specific one, but you've definitely had this distillery before.
Okay.
And
Oh,
just so you know, well,
I
these are
think I
ones
know.
for the most part, I was going to have all three, but for the most part, these are ones we visited.
Let me ask you. Okay, so have we been to this distillery?
Yes.
Crap. Okay, that's not what I was thinking, but it's all good.
And
Um,
and I loved it. I mean, but give me your first impression. What do you got from the blind tasting?
there's a lot of like vanilla that you would get from like a pretty fresh or like filled bourbon, ex bourbon cask.
Yep.
Um, I feel there's some floral, a little bit of grassiness, but it also like a little bit of like earthy nuttiness. That's why I was thinking there might have been some sherry in the mix too.
It does have I can't tell, if it might be in the fine print, but it's not boldly printed on the bottom bottle that this was sherry aged or sherry cask aged.
Yeah. Um, you got
You
me
want
in
to
this.
go?
Um,
Let's go region. What do you say for region? Because distilleries are tough.
we'll just say Highland.
Okay. And you want to guess a distillery as well?
Would that be correct?
No. It it would not. So I'll give you
Uh,
a hint. It's Isla.
okay, I'm gonna say Brook Lottie, even though we haven't been there together.
So close.
Oh man, I thought that one was like peated for some reason.
Bunahaben is what I'm holding up, by the way. And it's not only Bunahaben, it's Stiuiadair.
I'm not gonna try, but I think it's something like Sturgeon or something.
Yeah, Stewardair. But I think it means like the helmsman or something like that.
That's
Because
a
it's
tough
got
one because I'm gonna say that's one of the only Isla distilleries that does unpeated. So kind of, I knew I knew you'd make it kind of tough on me, but
that's cool. But again, but because as far as like you just mentioned, it's the only Isla distillery that does unpeated. So what was the importance of place in whiskey, and especially in Scotland? Why are the whiskey regions so distinctive?
I mean, back in the day, now it's a little less significant as it used to be, but it used to be just, we didn't have the logistics that we do nowadays. So you had to make do with what was in the immediate environment. So a lot of those places that didn't have the access to, like, let's say wood or coke or something to dry barley or to heat your homes, they would use peat moss a lot of
Yeah,
time. And
yeah,
even some space side distilleries used to do that too, like Macallan, believe it or not, used to be pretty heavily peated. Um, but yeah, so that's how people will say terroir, maybe maybe not in Scotch whiskey as much as is like in wine, but it all comes down to the locality.
yeah.
For
It comes down to the geography, the climate.
yeah,
Um,
might be maritime, might be more inland, might be high elevation.
and with Bunnahabhain was uh, it's got a strong history too. I mean, a lot of these distilleries do. It's some go back to like I saw an Instagram post. I'm pretty sure it's fake, but they had they found a 200-year-old bottling or whatever it was in this old castle, just like they always say. But they said the distillery was from the 1700s. Is that possible?
Yeah, I mean, there's a handful of distilleries that were producing maybe illicitly before being legalized in the 1700s. Let's say like Highland Park, for example. I think the Glen Turret is like one of the oldest distilleries. I might be wrong, but a lot of them were operating in the late 1700s.
Well, on the I guess in the Christmas episode, we had a beer from a brewery from 1200,
Yeah, the
if not
finest stuff.
earlier. So, but regional identity is kind you can kind of taste it though, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, um, and some of them, yeah, especially if it's been matured on Isla, it might be just in my head, but sometimes you can taste like a certain salinity. I feel like, but could be wrong.
But I mean, because you and I, like we mentioned it when we toured Ardbeg this year again, because it's our second time there, if not our third, but uh definite connections. But why do I don't know about maybe about yourself, but and because some of these things we can talk about, we can share similar answers to, but why do some people get so connected to places like Isla?
Um, yeah, I don't know.
I
I
mean,
mean,
it's beautiful out there. It's serene. It's because you and I have talked before. It's like, we picked, imagine living out there. Like, well, it would be a 2.5 hour ferry ride to anywhere.
yeah, it'd be tough, but I mean, there's not really anything like it. I mean, there's like now I think what they say 11 distilleries on the island, maybe 12.
Yeah,
But
soon to be what, 14? Is that what they said?
no, I think they're pushing. Well, yeah, actually, there might be a couple more. I don't. Either way, there had been I think 8 for the longest time, or Kilhoman for a while was the most recent one. But yeah, it's a small island, a lot of distilleries, just pretty rugged
Yeah.
place, very like I don't know, scenic, kind of picturesque, just
Oh,
interesting.
definitely.
Fascinating. You could say it's. I can see where people fall in love with it.
I guess because and the serenity, like the first time we were driving in the country and we had to stop because there were 3 sheep in the road. We didn't care. It was just
Yeah,
like,
you'll
and
have that.
and there's like you say, there's not a lot of offerings on the island as far as like we're Americans, let's face it, but we're thinking like, where's the food? Where's the Uber? I don't think they got Uber on Isla. I'm pretty sure they don't. But 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 it's a distillery culture. It's a different culture. And we saw one of the hardest working men in whiskey out, yeah, out that way, didn't we? And was he it?
Yeah, absolutely. In the Bowmore Hotel there.
Yeah, yeah, boy, and that guy. You could tell. I mean, he was great at what he did. And so people don't know he was managing the restaurant at the Bowmore Hotel. So managing restaurant and bar. But their whiskey selection was incredible, and he knew about everyone. And I was watching. You probably noticed too. He was free to sample a few. Like if he's pouring it for somebody, he'll have a
He
little bit himself.
tried
Yeah,
hard to try, like he poured himself a little, but uh,
yeah,
yeah, I want to say that bar had like every commercial, I mean, expression that each distillery put out on Isla, like every single one was in
yeah,
that.
yeah. Which
And
is it's impossibly impressive. You can't imagine like we said, there's 11 distilleries, but there's big dogs out there for the Lafroig, Lagavulin, Ardbeg, Bunab, and big shooters in the business that they call in the West. That's from a John Wayne movie. He's a big shooter, but yeah, and and we mentioned it real quickly. And one of my favorite parts of it is the ferry ride because was that the one on the way out we accidentally sat with all the dogs?
yeah, yeah, that was our first big one. And I didn't realize we sat in the economy class that was reserved for families or people traveling with pets.
Yeah,
Full
yeah,
dogs, full dogs, and we were right by the play center for the kids, so got the double
yeah.
whammy.
I thought it was remarkable that the kids were more rabid than the dogs were. It felt like
Oh,
I'm,
oh, oh.
I make myself. But the distillery culture, you can tell, it's like it's people for the most part, like we talked about out there. If you get a job at the distillery, you're doing it. You made it on Isla. You're there, and I'm sure a lot of people strive for that if they plan to stay on Isla because I'm sure some people leave. But that was one of my, that guy was one of my favorite moments there. The tours I liked a lot, and it's uh, on Isla. That was the one where in Lefroy she showed us that old green peat kiln. Uh, they
Yeah.
would smoke the peat below the mash floor. Is that what it was?
And the Freud you're talking about?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Or yeah, they had the on the bottom floor. They had the where they fed the peat into the kilns, which build up to the floors above. Where we're standing on that perforated floor, like way up in the attic underneath the
oh,
pagoda roof.
it's so cool. It's so, I mean, a lot. I try to be specific, and it's like I find myself saying it's generalities, like it's so cool, but it really is. But
That's all you got. I don't know, and it's applicable.
but I think one of my favorite experiences was like something you just thought up out of nowhere, and because we had to adapt because we were going to go to the American Memorial at one point, and we were also going to go to that little castle, which and have lunch. A
Uh,
little what do you want to call that? When we take your lunch out and eat in the grass. Not a picnic, but something that, anyway,
hey,
a little, because we went out, we went out across the bay from Lefroy, right?
Lagavulin out to the where the castle was.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
See, like that, where the castle was. They're everywhere out there. There's
yeah. You
castles.
got Pacific. There's quite a few.
But I mean, it wasn't the best sandwich we ever had in the world. It was just a packaged sandwich from the co-op.
Yeah.
Uh, I can't remember what mine was, but it was not memorable. So I guess that explains it.
No, it was right about the most neutral sandwich I've ever had, tasting wise. But I mean, the
But it was so
location.
nice. It was a beautiful day. We got lucky again with beautiful weather because that's not always a guarantee on Isla. In fact, maybe 50-50 now in our career there because of our experience there because this isn't our first trip and we had to play golf in the rain out in Scotland, not on Isla, uh, but it's time to move on. Well, we're moving on from Isla. There's a hint for you to Dram number two.
Okay. Let me get my collection here. I'm using all my stemmed glassware, which we got on our trip.
Yeah,
Which
I like those stem glasses.
for me, they don't typically last real long because I am clumsy and I break them all the time.
Oh, I thought you meant the beverage within.
No.
And this one, I got to tell you, this uh, single malt, I is unusual for me to buy and fairly priced. And I think it's a great representation of the region it's from.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah, I like that one a lot.
Okay. Are we in Campbelltown by any chance?
We are indeed. We
Yeah.
are indeed.
But I mean, let's see.
I'll let you guess the distillery because you can almost not get it wrong.
I'm going to say Springbank. It's a distillery.
That is correct. Guess another one from Campbelltown.
I'm going to say the Glengyle distillery that makes Kilkerran or Glen Scotia because there's only three.
Well, okay, from within the same distillery. That's
Yeah.
honestly we give it away. Springbank was correct, by the way. Here's our giveaway,
Oh, it's the old Campbelltown Lock.
which is a blend of five Campbelltown distilleries. Four, I believe, are from Springbank
Uh, uh, five
offerings.
distilleries, three distilleries. Two are technically owned by Springbank. So you have their Springbank's unpeated, medium peated, which is Springbank, heavily peated, long row. Then you have Glengyle Distillery, which makes Kilkerran. Then you have Glen Scotia's in the party too, who is owned by Loch Lomond Group, as we found out.
But Campbelltown, I ended up I'm not gonna say falling in love with it like I did Isla, but I fell in like with it uh, because it seems like a I don't want to say an industrial town. Like I used to live in Pennsylvania. You could see the towns that were former steel towns. This is a whiskey town, it felt like.
Yeah, it used to be like the whiskey capital of Scotland. Almost, I think there was a lot of illegal distilling going on, but I want to say upwards of 50 operating distilleries at one point in time. So I think a lot of maritime activity was going on there to UK and the rest of Europe, perhaps going in and out of Campbelltown. So yeah, it was a good hub for whiskey. But nowadays, yeah, kind of a shadow of what it used to be.
Well, it did, yeah, and that's a good point because it did have dozens, like literally dozens. This is not a big town, but it had dozens of distilleries. But but the town felt like a whiskey destination, but also where whiskey was part of everyday life in the same way I think as the harbor was, because we saw a lot of, you know, if nothing, not direct fishing and hauling. We all saw them hauling in some crab nets or crab cages, but we assumed crabs. We never
Yeah,
did.
I'm not a maritime professor. I don't know exactly what's going on in them crab pots looking, but one would assume. But yeah, we did see like an entire shipper or liner come in and get filled with logs that had been cut down, and there was
Even that was cool.
lot of maritime activity going on. It was kind of refreshing to see that it was still pretty
And
alive.
and there's some more activity we're going to touch on before we leave Campbelltown. I think you know what I'm going to talk about, but first of all, but why is well Campbelltown Lock is a unique bottle because it's got the five blends. Because usually I'm not a blend person. I just whiskey blends, Scotch blends, or bourbon blends. I'm not into it. But if you talk about Springbank, you talk about Long Row, you talk about Hazelburn, Kilkerran, Glen Scotia, again, big shooters, big dogs, big names, big favorites really of mine. I don't know about you, but I can't get past Springbank and Long Row, and you turned me on to Kilkerran, which is fantastic.
Yeah. No, yeah, I used to be pretty opposed to blends as well. I've been buying more recently, just especially with something like this where I know it's going to be quality. But someone did intentionally taste everything that went into it, blended it for a purpose, for a
Hmm.
specific flavor, which I know that sometimes I've had independent bottlers, large ones, and I won't name who it is, where they're like, we will buy a cask from a distillery just because we know who it is. We won't taste it. We just know what it's going to taste like, and we'll just bottle it, basically without tasting it. I've heard that. I can't guarantee that's true, but that's so I'm like, just because it's single malt doesn't guarantee it's going to be good either. But yeah, it goes both ways, I guess.
I can, and when you bring up, the tasting and it's so, barrel to barrel, cask to cask, it all depends on, like you've said before, and I won't pretend in any way to know nearly as much as you because, it's your education and your profession, but, where it's been in the rick house, what's the weather been like outside? How many times did they rotate it? What kind of, it's probably going to be in bourbon, barrels, but other than that, it's like, uh, I see. I'm at a loss for words. I'm not often at a loss for words, but it's got to be so complex to get it right, and they got this very right.
Yeah, no, honestly, I had a glass of this while we were over there, and this for some reason tastes way better than the one I had when we were over there. I don't remember where we were, but yeah, I had some
Yeah,
Campbell.
I thought you had it on your shelf. I knew you had it, but in Campbelltown, what struck you the most about walking through Campbelltown? Because I know what struck me.
Yeah, I don't know. I had been there before, not for very long. I got a lot better, I feel like, saturation this time and kind of feel for the town. I did a little bit of walking around
Hmm.
by the water and everything. I love the street that you go down to. I forgot. I think it's Long Row Road or Long Road Street that goes to Springbank Distillery and past
Yeah.
the Cotton Heads store, which
Cadenhead, for Christ's sake.
I'm never going to get it. I don't think at this rate, but yeah, I mean, I love the downtown area. I love the feel of it. It was very like towards the end, it felt very homey. I like
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
almost like I
But
had
I
lived.
was I was impressed because we walk out of the Airbnb that we rented and take a hard left, and a block and a half away we're in the bay. But if you take a block and a half the other way, we're on the road to Springbank, one of the most, in my minds, it's like Ardbeg. It's one of the most legendary and respected uh, distilleries. But even before, because I loved the fact we got up in the morning, we had breakfast. I don't know if that might. I think that's the day we had that the one British breakfast we had there, or the.
Yeah.
But then we went down to Springbank and we're just walking. It's 10 a.m., quarter to 10. Uh, but before we got there, what were you looking forward to seeing when we toured Springbank?
Let's see. Me the most. I mean, I love their grounds, and I saw more. Like I saw what I wanted to. I saw behind the scenes. I think it's absolutely, and you saw this too, insane that they can continue to produce whiskey, given that some of their newest equipment is from the 1940s,
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
and it's some of the highest quality and most authentic whiskey, like using like kind of historic or
Oh, it's
production.
historic.
Yeah, it's I mean, there's wooden chutes. There's there's belts. There's canvas belt. It's unreal.
It's cool because, and at one point, because they're talking, you can obviously tell like one of the guys was a retired, like not a rehire, but he comes to help with the tours. And at one point, point out the process. He's like, "Whoops, that ain't supposed to be like that. Somebody's screwing up." But
No, they were very like authentic during the tour too. They were just really down to earth people, and they're like, "Yeah, we'll just bring you
yeah,
through. I worked here for 20 years and retired, so I got to mow the grass this afternoon, but we can take a walk through wherever you want."
it was amazing because they were letting us walk through their mash. We could walk through it.
Yeah, yeah, literally the malting floors. Like,
People explain to them what I'm talking about when I say walking through the mash, but you're saying you're walking through the malt, right?
yeah, yeah, they have at Springbank. They do floor malting still, which is they steep it in water, convince it to grow to a certain point, spread it out on the floor so it begins growing, and then they will turn it until the roots and leaves start to grow and the enzymes get going, and then throw it in the kiln to dry it and halt all that enzymatic activity. And it's unreal. It's really labor intensive,
It
but
is. I did
fast.
it.
Yeah,
But it's also amazing because you bring up the kiln, and we should point out that it was a rare, like 85-degree Fahrenheit day for us in Scotland, and the kiln had just been turned off, not completely, but it was still pretty damn hot in there. And they
yeah.
walked us into the kiln.
It had been turned off that morning, yeah, and it was still quite warm. They really put us on a rigorous tour that morning. No water until plenty of
Yeah,
whiskey. No,
yeah, yeah. And it was great because it was the what was it called? Barley to bottle? Is that what was it called?
yeah,
Rainy
yeah,
glass. But
uh, yeah,
the full tour, and I thought it was interesting because our tour guide, our committed tour guide, she had a bottle of water, but nobody else. So
yeah.
it was like
She was prepared.
3 hours in heat and drinking whiskey and walking in the kiln. But then we got a good lunch. Uh, I thought it was really good and very local. Some of the stuff that I think you passed on the mussels, right?
No, I didn't eat all of them, but I passed on.
Yeah, I had to power through it. I admit, but
Well, I think that was. Did we have the big breakfast that day? Is that what it was, or that was?
it might have been, or the fact that it was mussels, and it was like it was
Oh, I've almost ended the relationship over muscles. We can talk about that some other time, but yeah,
yeah, good for you. I almost yeah, but
yes.
I almost ended a relationship over the fact that she wouldn't dance, but that's another story altogether. But yeah, it's and then we got to because as a full experience, and after lunch we got to bottle our own bottle of Springbank. We got
Yeah.
to we picked it to, they got out casks, samples from casks, and they let us all make our own bottle. And mine turned out fantastic. I don't know, have you tried yours yet?
Yeah, it's a little better than yours, but I mean, yours is pretty good.
Oh, hey, hey, oh, wow. I doubt it.
We'll
Hey,
have to do it.
speaking of good bottles, we said we're going to give this guy a shout out real quick because this was not in Campbelltown. This was in Oban, but Ewan Finlayson from Oban Whiskey and Fine Wines, because you had a nice surprise at the old Whiskey and Fine Wines place, didn't you?
Yeah, that I did. I went to purchase. There's an independent bottler, Thompson Brothers. They're putting out mystery bottles. This is, I think, their sixth or seventh iteration of this, where you don't know what you're getting. They proof them all to the same 46.3% alcohol and charge the same price. And there's about a list of 25 different barrels, single barrels that they bottled up. I bought it, and then they asked me at the store, they're like, "Hey, are you going to open this?" I'm like, "Yeah, I never thought about that because what the bottle is on the cork underneath the foil." So opened it, and it was a 27-year red wine barrique finished Auchentoshan, which
Boom.
paid 65 pounds, probably north $250 bottle. So,
Yeah, that
it,
was you blew their minds.
yeah, so yeah, we were on their Instagram. So yeah,
I I think they even said like, and they don't say this at Alpine in Scotland, but they were like, "Motherfucker, They- you." Oh, I should probably warn people. There's gonna be
you
some
didn't give
bad
the
words
people
coming.
the 5 second warning.
I forgot the 5 second warning.
Even I knew that. It's not my show.
Hey, and I have to thank you because, like, on the first episode, I probably dropped 7 F-bombs, and then that was like a 15-minute just intro to Mitch.
I knew it
But
was
I
coming. Couldn't stop you anyway, so it's all good.
okay. Speaking, you knew it was coming, couldn't stop him. There was one person, one fella, we couldn't stop in Campbelltown, and we went
Oh,
down to the
are you
what
talking
was
about
it?
our avian friend Steven Seagal?
Oh, that was hilarious. Just for everybody's like, I'll give them a little heads up because there's like 5 or 6 tables outside this restaurant slash bar we went to. I think what was it called? The Green
Black
Tiger,
sheep? Black.
Black Sheep, something like that. Let's call
Yeah.
it Black Sheep. But you could sit outside and at the tables. We went down, we were having we had dinner there one time, but we had a beer outside. People were outside on a nice day having, fish and chips or whatever they were having for lunch. One was specifically fish and chips because there was this persistent seagull the size of a small chicken, just eyeballing everybody's table, back and forth, eyeballing tables, walking back and forth. And when they'd leave, he'd jump on the table and he would just get every last morsel of food they had left behind. But he was big on grubbing on tartar sauce. It was horrible. Just massive beakful after beakful. Then he would pass the French fries and jump to the other plate and go after their tartar sauce. It was horrible.
Yeah, he loved it, and it sounds like you're gonna have nightmares about his.
Oh, I may tonight. But we talked to, that's why you bring it up. We talked to the waiter and we said something about, hey, that's Siegel. He's like, oh yeah, that's Steven. And you asked him why he called him Steven. And that's when they said, he's like, hey, Steven Seagal. I'm like, oh, oh,
Yeah.
oh, oh,
Oh,
oh.
they got a sense of humor over there.
It was hilarious because everybody was putting up with Steven because he knew it was basically harmless, a little bit annoying, but yeah, just part of the town, part of Campbelltown.
Yeah, I think he did break a glass. Maybe the last time we were there on the last day, but
Either
he
that or like the dog of the family jumped and bumped the table or something.
yeah.
But we did have one very what turned out to be this is one of the surprise again that turned out nice. Like, Stephen was a surprise. Walking in the kiln was a surprise. Uh, this was a surprise because when we first took off out of Sterling, where we first spent the first night, you were like, "Hey, Deanston's only 15-minute detour. You want to head down to Deanston Distillery?" And I love Deanston, and I was like all about it. So again, it was a beautiful day for us. 85 and sunny. We're not surprised by that. So we were loving that day, and we stopped in Deanston, and but well, you can tell everybody about it. What was tell first of all, you walked into the gift shop, and who greeted us?
Oh, I forgot their names now. I want to say, well, I know it was Lauren
Yeah, I
and
know you remember Lauren.
yeah, was it?
I think it was Bob, wasn't it?
I feel like it was Bob. Yeah, that
Because
might
he
be
came
right.
up like, because he came up like we were, two tourists, which we were, and he was going to start, saying, "Hey, we've got this, we've got that," because we were looking at the Centennial, the Deanston, I think it's called Centennial. Very nice tram, by the way. That we ended up buying a little bottle of it. But then we started talking. I probably let it out that you were a distiller, and he was like, "Hey, you want to see?" Because they weren't doing tours, but he was like, "Hey, you want to see our stills?" And we're like, "Hell yeah!" So he just opened up and just started showing us around. Gave basically us a private little one-room tour.
Yeah, yeah. He took us back into the still house real quick, which was ripping hot on that
Yeah.
day. Uh, but then it was kind of very opportunistic because Deanston is owned by a company that owns Bunnahabhain and Tobermory as well, which we happen to be going up to later on that trip. They share, I guess, an employee group chat. He took a
Oh
selfie
yeah.
of him and I, and then he dropped it in the group chat to, I guess, kind of pre-warn or ask Bunnahabhain to kind of hook us up, and as well with Tobermory, and that they did. So it turned out really well and
Wow.
opportunity.
At Bunnahabhain, they really hooked us up.
Yeah, I mean, you did make a purchase, and they kind of game the game a little bit, perhaps, but
I know, I guarantee it.
grease the wheels, you could say.
Hey, my wheels, I came in pre-greased. They didn't know that. I was ready to buy a Bunnahabhain because I love the distillery and I had saved like luggage space for that distillery. But
Yeah.
uh yeah, they gave us a sample of a 34-year-old Scotch, which was fantastic. I could reach back and get my little bottle of it because I ended up buying a small bottle of it.
I want to say it was either entire PX Max Rate, or wait, wasn't that the one where it was like it was a distillery manager or master distiller's
Oh
favorite
yeah, yeah.
size. I want to say it
Well,
was a
you sold me on it.
PX Gordo or something like that.
It just says 003 1992 PX finish.
Yeah,
Hand filled exclusive warehouse bottle.
yeah,
Yeah. That's what it looks like, by the way.
yeah. Good,
Boy,
good whiskey. That.
I cannot I cannot wait to break that open. It's gonna be that's number one, it's a 20 milliliter bottle, and also it's a fantastic and mildly expensive. So that'll be a special occasion kind of dram. But this is because you mentioned Bob and Lauren, and it was like a nice distillery, and their water source was the river flowing right by out front on a beautiful sunny day. It was fantastic.
Yeah, I wish you would have pre-gamed. I wish. I hope I got his name right because he was really nice. I should
I'm
have.
pretty sure it's Bob.
I had the video where I was like relaying that information for us later in the trip, but I just deleted it recently when I was going back through all my photos. So yeah, all good, all good. Yeah, we'll just say the visit center manager there at Deanston.
Okay, we're on to Dram 3. You ready? This is the last
Right.
one, and this one's admittedly, I think you might have an issue with, or it might jump out at you.
This one's really light compared to the first two, especially the last one.
So that's a good and accurate observation.
Hmm. That one's like so in Scotch whiskey, they generally do the first maturation in either bourbon hogshead or bourbon barrel, but they'll often do a couple refills. This one looks like it was in a second, maybe third fill one because it is real light, not a lot of color.
Yeah, natural color. There's like you point out, it's no coloring added. Um, I'll give you a hint. Like you say, it's light. It's also light in alcohol by volume.
Okay.
Little honey going on too, right?
Yeah, honey, like some like kind of more faint like cake icing, kind of vanilla going on.
Yeah, I was really happy. I mean, it's but we if you can get it to the region, I'll give you credit because we did not go to this distillery.
Okay, so there's like 160 distilleries in Scotland, and we've been to like 10 together. So
Hey, we
let's.
went to like 13 on the last trip alone.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Um, do you know if I've been to this distillery by any chance?
I don't. I don't know. I know we talked about it. Does that help? That'll narrow it down.
Okay, low ABV, pretty light in color, not peated for sure. Pretty floral and nice, kind of
Yeah.
grassy and honey. Shoot. So it's probably gonna be a commercially available one, right? Whereas is low ABV, like, or is this an independent bottle?
No, I got this from Specs. And not that that matters, but it is readily available in the U.S.
Okay. I'm gonna say Aaron again, or for the first time. I have no idea. It doesn't taste like Aaron, but hey,
You
I swear we didn't game that one. I looked at my shelf.
nailed it. Nailed Aaron on the nose. Enough of the region. So you got 2 out of 3. I'll give you credit for that.
I had some Aaron 10 to start the show, so I kind of refreshed myself with the profile. But
It's very nice, right? I mean, it's very light, like you say. It's a definitely
which one is
what
that? Is that quarter cask or what is that?
barrel reserve. American oak natural color barrel reserve.
Wow. Okay, I'm a huge fan of Aaron. Um, One of the guys I did my some of the lab work with, one of my friends from the program, he went on to work at Aaron, and he might still be there actually. Shout out to Cameron McIntosh. I think he's over there. But yeah, we'll get there one day to the lovely island of Aaron.
Yeah, because even though it's classified Highland, it's out on an island.
Yeah, yeah, that's a weird one. That's a little tough. But Aaron's a beautiful place. People say it's like if you took Scotland as a whole and condensed it into a single island, that's what it's like because you have hills, you got waterfalls, you
Uh,
got peat bogs, you got
See, I'm
beaches.
telling you, because we went. It's partially. I'm sure you took into consideration that my toe was jacked up still. There, I said it. But also because of the weather, because it was raining pretty good by then. We decided, not to go on that hike up that what
Oh
was it
man,
called?
Ben, not Dub. What was that one? It's right out back of Luss. Yeah, I can't remember right
Yeah,
now.
beautiful. I mean, we'll talk about Lust too, but we went out to Glencoe, and you had been out there before, but it was but because my first impression. So what did you think the first time you went out to Glencoe?
Kind of like you did. And it's funny because you end up passing through Glencoe like a lot if you're driving around Scotland or taking a train. Like if you're going out to Fort William, out to like some of the Hebrides or Skye. But yeah, the first time like I didn't think that kind of elevation existed in Scotland. Really, it was like
Yeah, exactly.
because it kind of comes out of more or less nowhere. Like
It's incredible. Yeah, I kept, I'm doing it now. I'm shaking my head. Like, I remember the pictures. It's like, holy balls, those are mountains.
yeah,
And like you say, though, it just the terrain changes quickly. And it's like, because then you start pointing out a little something on the side of the hill, and you're like, that's a ski lift. I'm like, really? A
yeah.
ski lift?
Yeah, because I was on a trip prior to ours in April, and they were covered in snow when I was there. There was, I think, maybe snow on the ground in places still. But yeah, because I mean, I'm used to like the more eastern side of Scotland around the Dalwhinnie distillery and the Cairngorms. There's a lot of elevation over there, but on the western side, yeah, that one kind of comes out of a little bit out of nowhere after you get north of Loch Lomond.
It was incredible. I mean, if for everybody, if you want to see something, similar, look, if you've seen the movie Skyfall, James Bond movie, if you haven't, it's worth seeing Skyfall. But that's the region, and it was great because also we came upon that nice hotel out there for we wanted to do lunch there. We ended up having breakfast sandwiches. Is that what they had?
Yeah. We had sausage toasties, I think, as usual, or like sausage
Good
rolls.
ones though. Yeah, good ones. It's really it's like it's all you need because we went the entire time. We had left. Uh, we talked about going, we went to the Ardbeg House restaurant, and I had a feeling at one point there was going to be, and you and I talked about it as we were planning beforehand, there's going to be one dinner that kind of breaks the bank a little bit. And I was willing for us to do that at Ardbeg House, but it really didn't live up to expectations.
It was all
But
right. Just a weird, a little bit of a funky place.
But we did, I mean, because it was really funky and interesting. I'm glad we went. They tried, I think, but I think they're going to grow into it and get a little bit better because I think my favorite part was the duck breast appetizer. But uh,
Yeah.
but we also met because people don't know that we've traced our lineage back to Scotland on my father's side, otherwise known as your grandfather. And
Oh,
we had gone to we had traced it back to a town in out northeast of Edinburgh in Erith, where supposedly in 1643 uh, our ancestors had got, for whatever reason, they just stood up, came to said we're going to the U.S. and they came to the East Coast, and I've traced it all the way back from the East Coast back to us in Illinois at the time, but we knew that our what our clan was, and we had never we on our first trip to Scotland we took the airplane. The you set up the private flight, not the private flight, but the small propeller plane
Yeah,
air
see,
tour over Scotland, over Luss, and we flew over this. We're like, oh, that's our clan's home. Ooh, that's our clan's golf course. But this time, ahead of time, we registered, our names with the clan, so that's the only way you can get in. And because this is kind of what surprised me as well, because there's our clan hotel in town, but we got into the grounds right through the sacred. You had to go through the gate guy, and we went underneath, the big staghorn that this one right here uh, on the
this
gates that we saw
happy
before,
people.
but we couldn't go in. And we talked to a guy later at a restaurant. We were wearing these golf caps. I think I'm showing to everybody on the video. The most expensive golf caps you're ever going to buy, by the way. But
I'm never gonna buy.
But he asked you, he's like, "Hey, did you golf there?" And like we're like, "No, no, we did a tour with Sue, by the way. Sue, give a shout out to Sue, who gave us the tour. We arranged with the clan Colhoun. She uh, organized those kind of things. But it was also because she and this. Okay, heads up, there's going to be a bad swear coming. 5 seconds coming up. But Sue gave us a tour and she had zero fucks whatsoever about, she's like, yeah, we're going in. We're going in here. We're going in there. She's like, there's the clubhouse if you want. But she took us to our clan's castle that we've read about. You probably have by now, I'm sure. But I got us a little book that explains like our clan castle from the 1500s and how we came to be the owners of that castle
Oh,
in the
great.
15 stories from Clan Cahoon.
Yeah.
Uh, but explains it in 1500. And I'm like, son of a, that's what's in the book. And she kept telling me stories about the clan. I'm like, that's in the book too. Like, but then she took us to a private estate afterwards. I'll stop rambling. But what'd you think about that estate?
You're talking about what is that? The castle up on the hill that oh my
Yeah,
god.
another castle. If you remember
So
that guy's name, I'll be impressed.
the Rod, the Kiwi.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we got Sue Twist, by the way, last name Twist, and then was it Roger or Rod?
Let's go with Rod.
Rod the Bod up there on the on the hilltop.
Yeah.
What was the name of that castle? Sorry, it's totally
Oh,
escaping
I
me.
don't
But
remember. I'm impressed that you remember he was a retired Australian special army person.
well, that makes some keywords that make me listen. But yeah, beautiful, castle that was, I believe, under shared ownership of our clan and another clan that they're right now working towards, restoring along with the Scottish government, but overlooking, down onto Loch Lomond, beautiful, beautiful countryside out there. But yeah, just a fantastic experience put on by Sue there.
Yeah, yeah, and she was a remarkable guide because she knew. I mean, she lives there. I mean, she lived in a nearby city, but we know that's our home. That's our people came from there, and but yeah, it was, and also we went to the bar at the hotel and the Loch Lomond Arms, I believe it was, but they had remodeled the bar, and we saw a picture of John Cowan up there, and then we noticed also within the bar they took a very hunting theme and had a lot of uh, what do you want to call that when they stuff animals?
Taxidermy.
Taxidermy, and I'm like, you made this statement like this. He probably, this was probably all his collection, and it was.
Yeah, yeah, that was I mean, a lot of full circle moments on this trip, especially once we got to Lust. But I just because we're fans of antique books, we think it's cool. So I got you that one by John Colhoun, which is one of the clan chieftains throughout the
Yeah.
history about sporting on lochs and around the countryside of Scotland and how to how to hunt game. And yeah, we're sitting in there, and his portrait's in that room. It's a great bar. There's all these taxidermied animals, and they did a really good job remodeling. And I'm like, yeah, wouldn't it be crazy? And then, like, this collection belongs to Chief John Colhoun. I'm like, oh, well, I'll be damn. And then yeah,
And that's another one where I read every page of that book. That book I got to the end, like 20 pages from the end, and I didn't want to finish it for like 2 months because I didn't want to finish it.
yeah,
But what a great book. But Sue also recommended, something that was a surprise out of nowhere for us. She recommended an island restaurant.
yeah. On the island of Inchmirren, which is really cool because Loch Lomond Distillery has a distillate type they make called Inchburn, and it's one of my favorites. And then she's like, yeah, you just call them up, and then they arrange a boat to pick you up to bring you to the island
Yeah.
for dinner. So naturally, we're like, yeah, our plans are kind of open. So we called them, and sure enough, they sent out the dinghy, and they
Yeah.
picked us.
The old water taxi with call me crazy, but I believe a piss drunk driver. And
Yeah. I mean, he's got to do something in between trips, and I believe he was right at the bar that's in the restaurant. So
yeah, yeah. It's just having some cold ones. And I don't blame him one bit. And the ride was uneventful, but it was, again, beautiful. Like the sunset came out and we're taking pictures across the lock and it's our lock and it's our family. And it's like,
yeah,
and another, and another nice, a couple ladies with a couple of kids on there. And everywhere we went, everybody was so great to us, really.
yeah. And in his defense, he was a hell of a boat driver. Smooth trip. I mean, he put it right there at the little cleats.
Yeah.
He's a pretty damn good. I mean, it's a 15-minute drive, but it's still.
Reminded me of my little brother Chris. I mean, honestly, because Chris could be hammering
Yeah,
all day long, and he was. But then he would just slam my dad's 40-foot houseboat, 40 by 12 houseboat, like right to the narrowest parking spot, scared the hell out of everybody. But he was like, "What? What?"
yeah, but yeah. All in all, I mean, I work nights, and sometimes I work, but sometimes I got some free time. So I did a lot of planning, and I love creating PowerPoints. So I did that for
An
the trip.
incredible PowerPoint, yeah.
I do a lot of fact checking on timelines. I punch the drive times into Google to make sure they make sense, to make sure I'm not overtaxing you or I. And
Yeah,
yeah,
me.
it all worked out really well, and yeah, I'm quite happy, and it was a hell of a trip.
Yeah, and like I meant, we went through a lot of the surprises that surprised us, like what Sue would go through, like standing in the kiln, just sitting with the dogs. I mean, just the surprises kind of but there were very few, and we were really controlled. And I remember, like, I like when you said, you heard about that restaurant from Sue. She was talking to you, and you looked at me, and you're like, "You want to go?" And I'm like, "Hell yeah, we're going."
Yeah, yeah, why
Let
not? I
me
mean,
let me ask you though, because and I know mine, as I'll tell you, I had like 8 or 10 questions I was gonna ask you, Dan, but I'll keep it down to like 2 or 3. What was your favorite dram of the entire trip?
oh,
That's a tough one. I know it's a tough one.
let's see. I think I know. I got two. I'll give you two. I can't possibly narrow it down to one. Um, the one we had in the steel warehouse at Springbank, the 32-year-old Springbank from
Oh yeah,
my birthday
wow.
in 1990. That was an amazing dram. Unfortunately, in a tough setting because it was hotter than hell, and we hadn't drank water in like 3.5 hours.
But it
I
was fantastic.
think that'd be a spectacular dram, especially sitting at home in a different environment. Actually, dang, I forgot about the ones we had at the Loch Lomond Arms too. Those were really good.
Oh yeah, those three by a private bottler.
Then my probably my unicorn, the Glen Scotia,
Oh yeah, that's sad
this distillery specific bottle that I didn't.
that you couldn't
uh,
get anywhere else, and for some reason you walked away.
it was I was put on the spot. The tour guide wasn't returning to the gift shop after the tour, so we had to make the decision then and there. And it was pretty early in the trip, so suitcase space still hadn't been figured out for bottle
Yeah.
locations. And I said no when I should have said I. So that's me.
Yeah.
How about yourself?
And see, I almost forgot about the ones at the Loch Lomond Arms because all three of those were incredible.
Yeah.
And the 30 tier, I mean, you didn't mention the 19-year-old at Ardbeg, but
Oh, yeah.
I would say it has to be Bunnahabhain, that 34-year-old.
Yeah, yeah, and luckily we have more of it.
Yeah, there wasn't no luck about it. They took $200. But
Yeah, I think more than and
well,
for a wee bottle, not even.
let's just call it $200.
Yeah,
Um,
but
and I think favorite distillery.
oh man, you really hit me with tough ones. Um, Bloodhaven's always been one of my favorite, just because the styles they can produce. I think they're both fantastic, peated and unpeated. You saw firsthand the scenery, the location
Yeah, yeah,
is
it's
just
incredible.
unreal. I think until the '60s they were using ships for all their commercial traffic. Ardbeg is always going to have a spot in my heart. Springbank is incredible. What can you say? Yeah, I'm sorry. I can't possibly give a straight answer. I won't do it.
Yeah, I
Um,
think those were like among mine, and I was really impressed with Glen Scotia, believe it or not.
yeah, yeah, I liked it more this time. I've been there before. Honestly, I'm happy we got into Lefroy. I got a lot of respect for them. Beautiful distillery. I love their
Yes.
control room. Honestly, this the way they have the skylights in there. Really cool. Kind of looks a little bit retro, but their still room beautiful. Kilns really cool. I don't know. That's a cool distillery too.
Well, let me kind of wrap it up for everybody who's listening. If you're listening this long, God bless you because we've been going
Yeah,
through a lot. But if
yeah.
someone who's never been to Scotland, what would you tell them?
Do it. That's my first
Yeah,
recommendation.
yeah.
The way I kind of plan our trips, I just go big picture and then shrink it in. I do the flights, make sure those make sense. Then I start to do lodging day by day, make sure those make sense, and the drive times between travel times. And then I just start to fill activities and make sure everything makes sense. Then you do rental car, then you do maybe meals, attractions, just fill it
It,
in.
it, it's so cozy, and if you go, let us know. There's a fair chance we'll meet you.
Yeah,
We'll have a
and especially Scotland, they're so accommodating and nice. Really, I mean, don't be afraid to do it. They believe it or not, they speak English, although sometimes it might not sound like
yeah.
it.
And the only thing I found pleasant was the tipping culture, because you told me right away, they pay their people a livable wage, so you don't tip unless
Yeah,
something goes over and above.
yeah,
But uh, but yeah, that's what I would say too. It gave us, these three drams were just like kind of a way to walk through the trip. But it really, I'll remember like the people, the places that surprised me, like Glencoe. The stories that we couldn't have planned, like the dogs, sitting with the dogs, sitting,
yeah.
just it's unfortunately the Cincinnati airport, which is in Kentucky, that cost me a beer. But the Cincinnati airport was another story. But yeah, it's by all means though, if you do plan on going, I'm not kidding. Give us a shout. Fair chance we're either planning to or we will make accommodations to meet you there.
Yeah, I will see you there for sure.
All right, man. Well, it's been fun reliving it. I got a feeling we'll keep talking about this one for a while. It was a great trip.
Yeah, absolutely. Not gonna say once in a lifetime, but fantastic. I'll say.
I agree. I agree. And thank you for taking me along. And thanks for driving every damn step of the way. We put over 800 miles on that car.
Hell yeah! Don't stress me out at all. I'll do it.
All right, man. Well,
All right.
until next time, buddy. We'll talk soon.
See you then.